I found it strange that the CTV did not ask you about the rally at all.
No, they didn't. And to be honest, things were getting a little emotional, and I should have mentioned it. Yeah, I was supposed to do 3 or 4 interviews, and I had canceled them. And I forgot that I didn't cancel that one.
Okay.
So it was it was just it's been a crazy couple of days, and this morning it's been a little rough. So
yeah. So tell us about the Gathering of Hearts and the Rally for Justice tomorrow.
It'll be at 2:00 in the afternoon, and to me, it's about all of us getting together and demanding more from our society, from our representatives, from our police force, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I did feel a little bit better with the statement that was given out by Rod, but I don't know. I just don't understand how anybody can think that they don't have answers. Kids just can't disappear with all the adults there. They just don't up and disappear.
So what about the interview with Rob McCammon made you feel better? The fact that he did a press conference, or was it something specific about what he said in the press conference that made you feel better?
Well, they are very, really precise about the wording they use. I keep pushing for them to state that nobody wants to mess with the investigation. I mean, I certainly don't want to interfere with anything that could jeopardize it. But I do feel they have the ability to state that they can rule things out. And the closest he came to it was kind of slipping out the criminal part on what is needed for it to turn over. And then he covered it pretty quick.
Yeah. He did rule out abduction.
Right. But you would still have one stating that no, because they turn around and state that they're looking at all.
Correct. He did contradict himself several times in that interview. And that's why I was curious as to, so this is just my opinion, Belynda, and I'm actually glad that it made you feel better. I was not impressed with it, but that's only my opinion. And I'm glad it made you feel better, because I was afraid that you might have been really hurt by it.
No, I know when the day Malaya left, I knew that day I would not see my grandchildren anymore. I knew that. Mm-hmm. I haven't changed, no matter what they say, no matter what avenues people go down. I look down their avenue and I keep coming back. Mm-hmm. And I know his first interview, when he stated the likelihood of the children being alive was slim. Mm-hmm. And he made that point again. And I don't understand why people don't see that, because I know I feel that.
Okay.
And I have heard so many people to say about don't lose hope and don't give up. Mm-hmm.
And that must kind of frustrate you.
It's not just frustrating. It's you're the grandmother. Mm-hmm. And you have to explain to them the rationality of...
Yeah, why you think that.
Right.
I will tell you that I think that you know this, right? It's really difficult to know one way or the other, honestly, but I have for a long time believed that they're alive. Here's why. And this is really and truly because there's no sign of life. There's no evidence of life. But here's the reason. But there's also no evidence of death. But here's the reason why and it's the only reason. I can be honest about that. It's Malaya's behavior as a mother. I can't bend my head around her behavior as a mother if she genuinely, honestly, either knew they were dead or truly, genuinely had absolutely zero idea where they are or what happened to them.
If she had zero idea, she'd be going off her head right now. She would not have hidden. She would have been screaming the top of her lungs if she had no idea.
Exactly. 100%. 100%.
The thing with death that I have learned, you can't change it. You can wish, you can try to make deals with the devil. You cannot change it.
Yeah.
Do I think her world's falling apart? Do I think she's devastated? I do. I really do. But I don't believe it's because she thinks her kids are just missing.
Why do you think she's devastated? And if just Belynda, I want to just interject here.
In my opinion,
sure.
If something happened, in my opinion, nothing intentional, just something that really went wrong, something that you are to blame for through neglect, through many things that would lead you to this something happening. You can't change that after it's happened. You can't. But you do look around and you see what you have that you got to protect.
Yeah. So the Rally for Justice, I just want to talk about that because it is tomorrow. And I just want to remind people that it is tomorrow. And you were saying it's 2:00. It's at the Stellarton RCMP. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
We're asking people to bring signs, asking for justice, demanding answers. Me and my family have made quite a few signs, so we're hoping to have a few extras there in case somebody needs one. We have a jar that I'm bringing, and it's a jar of hope. And there's a bunch of hearts cut out, and people can leave messages on them and put them in the jar.
I love that.
I have to say that was not my idea, and it is a beautiful idea. Christine Curley, I might have her name wrong, and I deeply apologize to her if I've gotten it wrong. But she was the one who had the idea, and yeah, it was a beautiful idea.
It is a beautiful idea. And as far as you know, and you are one of the organizers of this, is that correct?
Slightly. I don't like to look at anybody as an outright organizer. Kent's done a lot of the heavy work because he's in the community. He has the ties to know that I definitely wanted it held at the same place it's been. And he knows the people to get those balls rolling, to know what can be set up where and when. So Kent's organized the biggest part of this.
Okay. So do you know, are you aware at all as to who is going to be officially speaking there or addressing the crowd?
No, I do not.
Okay.
It's pretty up in the air exactly who's all going to be there. It's an unknown. It's an unknown. I know the last one we had Cheryl and Haley and Janice. I have heard that Shenanigans will be there. I've heard that Nova will be there. There has been a whisper that maybe Cindy, Malaya, I don't know. But everybody is welcome. It is for Lily and Jack, so yeah, everybody is welcome.
Okay. I'm just going by what Kent has shared with us, and I think he has said that the Stellarton RCMP have been invited to speak.
Yeah, they've spoken at the last two.
Right.
I know I will have a statement to read.
Okay.
I believe Kent will also have a statement to read, to state.
Right. Okay. And I think he also said that he had invited somebody from Major Crimes also in Bible Hill, I guess.
Right. Have they accepted, do you know?
As of yesterday, he had not heard.
Right.
Yeah. He's not sure. And I haven't heard anything about Janie or anybody like that, whether or not, Logan or anyone. I don't know.
It's hard to say. I mean, like I said, this is such, it's very complicated at the point that it's at right now.
Right.
I cannot see Daniel coming. I cannot see Logan coming.
Okay. Are you sort of, your gut instinct, are you expecting a large crowd? Like larger than before, this being the marking the 1 year I'm not going to call it anniversary, but the 1 year.
Right. The 1 year mark is what I've been calling it.
Yeah.
I'm hoping there will be a larger crowd. I am hoping so.
And it's at 2:00. Do you know roughly how long it's going to go for? Is there a like 2 to 5, 2 to 6, 2 to 3, or
Usually it runs about between 2.5 hours. I don't think we have a time limit on it to end, other than when people feel that they want to start dispersing. That I don't think we had a time limit on it ending.
Okay. And Kent was saying too that he wants people, if they're going and if they can, to take signs.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you were saying that you will have extra signs there or something?
Yeah. Me and my family, we did up, let me see, about 14 to 15 signs we've got made up.
Okay. Okay. And what do they say?
Where's justice? Where's truth? Lily and Jack deserve answers. We want justice now.
Mm-hmm.
All those type of sayings of demanding answers.
Correct. Yeah. Okay.
And accountability.
Mm-hmm.
That
have you now this
is really big on my list.
The what? Sorry.
I said truth and accountability is really big on my list.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, the major crimes, as I understand it, is actually in charge of this investigation. Is that correct? Do you understand? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now, the Stellarton RCMP, for example, when you do, Belynda, get any kind of an updates, or when you have any kind of communication with the RCMP about the case or the investigation, is it major crimes that reaches out to you, or is it Stellarton that reaches out to you, or how does that work?
It's major crimes that I talk to.
Okay. And when did you last speak to them?
About 4 days ago.
And what did they say?
The same thing Rob said, that they're looking at everything.
Okay.
But they did state that there's a lot of stories on social media, and he did advise me not to pay attention to a lot of them, that they're only interested in what is a part of their investigation. Anything else doesn't mean anything to them. And
what are the things that they are interested in?
Oh, you didn't tell me that part.
Oh, well, we were hoping, right? Wow.
I'm assuming, reading between the lines, I'm assuming we all know what Anita's been saying. And I think the message he was trying to get across to me is anything that pertains directly about Lily and Jack, those are what they're interested in. Or Daniel, Malaya, they're interested in those conversations and tips. But other things, like Anita's been saying, of abuses that have taken place in childhoods and that has nothing to do with Lily and Jack. So they have no interest in it.
Okay.
I think that is kind of the point I took from them, because I did bring her name up. So.
Okay. And let me ask you, and it was horrible. Did you, and Daleen was here that evening, did you see this outlier report that ended up being completely false?
I did.
Okay. Did you discuss that with him at all?
What did he tell me? He said when people put things out and stating it's that they have the know or they're in the know, he said, trust me when I tell you those people don't know nothing.
Okay. How would he know that?
I don't know. We weren't talking about that particular report.
Oh, yeah, no, I believe the report is entirely false and fabricated and maliciously created. That's my belief.
Mm-hmm. I just told him, I said, well, I've been hearing about a lot of different experts that are out there stating different things now. And he said, my advice is the ones who claim to have all the knowledge do not.
Okay, so you were talking in reference to experts.
Yes.
You weren't okay. So why I asked you the question, how would he know, is I'm sort of thinking upon it. Like if, let's say, and this is all we could ever hope for. Let's say some random person simply shows up and they've had enough and they simply decide to crazily spill their guts, to say that person doesn't have any knowledge. Who's to know that?
Oh, well, to me, like I said, my relationship with Anita is not good. But do I believe some of the things she has stated? I absolutely do. Like I said, I know what I know before Anita. Mm-hmm. So for her to know some of the same things that I knew,
Mm-hmm.
It shows me that she knows something.
Oh, okay. I don't honestly. I don't follow Anita. I now probably going back maybe a month ago, a month and a half ago. I watched some segments of stuff. I did speak to her. Not and let me verify that I didn't actually speak to her. But we did about over an hour messaging back and forth. That would have been in March. And after that, I didn't follow Anita at all. People showed me sent me certain stuff, and I was made aware of statements she had made and things she had claimed and whatnot. And it's like, yeah, okay. So the problem that I had with Anita was that what she claimed, what she said, told me in Messenger, she completely contradicted about 2 or 3 days later in a live. So when I see that sort of thing, I give that person very little credence because I don't know what is true, and I don't have time to weed it out. If somebody is going to, play silly buggers with this story, it's really unfortunate.
I spoke with her since the 1st of February. Most of it was texting. We had maybe a half a dozen calls that we talked on the phone. During most of that, I found her very credible because, like I said, I knew some things and she was filling me in on other parts of the things I knew.
Okay.
And then exchanging thoughts back and forth, and then her stating what she witnessed, what she saw, what she felt. It all seemed so believable, and I was so happy to hear somebody from Malaya's side of the family that wasn't looking at Malaya or Daniel. They were just looking at Lily and Jack.
Right.
And I really put a lot into hoping that she was going to be what we needed for this case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, I thought one day I would get curious, and I went on her profile because I know a lot of people didn't believe that she was who she was. They didn't believe she was friends with Cindy. So I wanted to put some of the pictures out of her and Cindy to show people that they do know each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I had contacted Callie because I knew Callie was talking with AB and a couple of other ones. And I showed the pictures to Callie. I said, what do you think?
Yeah.
And at first she was agreeable. Then afterwards it was no, because they could be AI. And it's like, well, let me go back and see if she can find something with a timestamp onto it. So I did, and I told Anita, I said, I want to put these pictures out. So I said, I need one that has an original timestamp. The thing with Anita is Anita uses filters for most of her pictures.
Okay.
And just about her whole gallery is full of pictures, but she's always got an AI image.
Right. Okay.
And Callie didn't want to show them, so I said, fine. But then afterwards, Callie went out stating that I was stabbing her in the back because I was pissed off she wouldn't show them. And I just don't understand people. I do not understand people.
Yeah.
So then I started looking at her friends list, and I couldn't find anybody on her friends list, which I thought was strange. So I asked my stepson, can somebody hide a part of their friends list? I mean, I know you can kind of make your friends list private, but can you pick 1 or 2 people and have that private that nobody can see them? He didn't know.
And I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Anybody know? Anybody in chat know? We're talking about
the thing I did notice is Cody, Haley's man, I can't remember his last name. He was on her friends list. And I thought, well, that's strange. Wade's not there. Cindy's not there. Malaya's not there. Why is Cody there? So I had asked her, and she said, well, he wanted a job with her husband, and while it didn't work out, he wasn't hired. So he must have got on her friends list that way. And, well, I mean, I know in order to get on a friends list, you have to accept. So right away, I knew that didn't sound right when she said that. And I let it go. We talked for about another hour, but the next day when I went to contact her, she had me blocked. And I think it was 3 or 4 days after that I was told that she was on with Mike the Man. And then while everybody's seeing what was going on with Mike the Man at that time.
So Terry Lynn, people can actually have their friends list visible. You don't necessarily only see mutual friends. I was just looking at somebody's friend list.
Oh no, I know.
Yesterday.
It'll show you mutual friends that you have in common. But if you don't have your friends list private, then you can see all their friends.
Yep, and anybody can.
Right. I could see all these friends that she had, but I didn't see any family friends on there, like Wade, like Cindy, like possibly Malaya. None of them were on her friends list. But right away, I recognized Cody. So I found it strange. So I questioned her on it.
You see, I have issues personally with people who become part of this case one way or the other, whether they are family, whether they're, close friends, whether they're distant friends, whether they simply are interested in the case. But if they're talking about it publicly, blah, 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 I have a problem with transparency. If people are not transparent with you, that's a red flag for me. And I don't mean that they have to be transparent to the world, but if you have made a connection with someone and you're talking back and forth, and you especially as the grandmother to these children, if you've made a connection with somebody like that over the phone and you're talking and somebody blocks you on their social media account, that's a red flag to me.
It was to me at that point, yeah. And once I seen her on Mike's show, I knew exactly what the red flag was.
Yeah. She had told me, here's just one thing, right? So the story is that she had been friends with Wade for years and years.
Yeah.
And she had said to me in Messenger that she was so hurt by how she had been treated by Cindy and him that, she had gone and looked after Meadow. She had spent her own money getting there. Cindy had basically called her up, asked her to do a favor. Anita agreed and said, yes, she would look after Meadow. And then she was buying groceries. She was paying for her own gas. And she talked about, as everybody knows, how horrified she was at the appearance of Meadow. And, then she just said, she wasn't really specific, but she said that she was so hurt and, that, she didn't talk to Cindy anymore. And she said, I've even blocked Wade.
She told me she was very hurt by Cindy. She never stated then that she was hurt by Wade, but maybe by halfway through February, she started to state that she believes Wade will still tell the truth, but she does know he's in an uncomfortable position, but she still believes him. She grew up with him. She knows him. He will be truthful in the end.
Well, and so she tells me that she blocked Wade. It doesn't matter to me. It's neither here nor there who she talks to or who she blocks, but she offered that information. And it's interesting information to me because, yes, she's claiming they go back to childhood.
Yeah.
But then a few nights later, she's on Mike Demand and she makes the comment that, she was hurt by Cindy, but that Wade and her are forever.
Yeah, that's what she told me too.
And I just went, yeah, okay. That was only one inconsistency and contradiction, between what she told me and what she said online. It was,
But like I said, some things I know that she said, it did totally line up with things that I knew. So that's why I say, I think there's a bit of truth to some of the things she says. I just don't know why she had to discredit herself.
What kind of things did you find were consistent?
With the childhood that Malaya had.
Okay. So nothing about the current.
Oh, I've heard plenty of current things, but nothing I want to repeat.
Right, but nothing that's consistent that you say, you know what, that happened when I knew Malaya, or that happened when I had seen,
No, because she outright told me that she hadn't seen Malaya since Malaya had kids.
Yeah, I know.
The only time she had seen Malaya was when she went to look after Meadow. That for a couple of years that her and Cindy had very light communication. And she said Cindy never once told her that Malaya had children.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
It is, but then again, I haven't seen anything going on in the past 11 months that hasn't been absolutely crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's absolutely correct. Yeah. It's so it's very strange. So how far is the Stellarton RCMP, Belynda, from where you are?
Where I live, it takes me about an hour. Yeah, about 50 minutes to an hour, I think, to get there.
Oh, okay. Okay. So it's not
No, it's not that far away.
yeah.
No.
And from your family, who might be going?
Well, my sister, my niece, and my daughter and her man will definitely be there. I
Okay.
have another friend showing up. My family from in my home right now, they will not be there. That it's not a good mix. As angry as what I get,
Mm-hmm.
it's no.
So are you referring to your son?
My son, my stepson, my
Okay.
hubby. That yeah,
Yeah, okay.
I can be civil and they're not.
Right. Gotcha.
And well, like I said, I don't like to speak down of the RCMP because I do believe RCMP and police play a very important role. But I do know that people will get charged for assault a whole lot quicker than what somebody gets charged for 2 missing kids. That much I do know.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's did you watch I think it's CBC. Did you watch that interview with Nick and Please Bring Me Home and that whole coverage?
Oh, I did.
And what was your take on that?
I can't knock anybody searching because, like I said, that's the only way we're going to find them is we need searchers. So I can't knock that. As for Nick's words personally, I take a very high affront of that.
Which words were those that he
Some
feels?
people were asked not to attend due to the social media and not having good intentions.
Right. Right.
So I have seen a whole lot of social media attentions. I have seen so many Facebook groups with intentions.
Mm-hmm.
And I see a mother who's had CPS involved, who there's no answers for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently she's the one that really needs to be pitied. She's the one that hasn't done any wrong and deserves all the support.
I found it odd that Nick chose, and this was in the article, this wasn't in the interview on CBC, but this was in an article, and I found it so unfitting for a supposed non-bias volunteer, not-for-profit search group, for him to say that they're advocating for Malaya. I found that very strange.
I found it strange. I understand me because I am going for guardianship, so I do understand that could make for high tensions, especially after the search in November. I mean, I did speak out about that search, so that did not bode well for me either.
Mm-hmm.
So I understood that, but I do know the relatives that I had there. I know his team at that time stated they definitely want them back because they were great in the woods.
I'm sorry, what was that?
The team he had with him back in November, there's a woman that's kind of like his right hand. She does a lot of the gathering and the putting together of stuff. And life for me, I can't think of the woman's name, but she was a sweetheart.
Okay.
And my daughter and her man were put into a group, and my niece was put into a group, and they were very impressed with their searching and stated that they would love to have them back.
Yeah. And then they have the opportunity.
Yeah.
And then they can't. So I want to ask you, because if I'm understanding this correctly, on the last search, prior to that search, now this is the way I understand this, and this is important, people. I understand that there was some communication with this Malaya side. I don't know if it was directly with Malaya or Cheryl or whoever, but with some sort of a psychic. And that psychic was recommended to you. And that psychic talked to you or spoke to you and mentioned something about a mound of earth that you should be looking for when you go on the search. Do I have this correct?
Somewhat. I could not search in the woods. I'm not physically able to.
Mm-hmm.
Neither is my sister.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't want to sit there all day just sitting in the building. So Daphne from Daphne's Case Files, she had an item that she had seen on Google Earth and she wanted to know if I could check it out. So my sister and I went to check it out and we were checking dirt roads. A psychic contacted me back in, I think it was July or August. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and look at the text messages to get the exact date. She never told me that she was in contact with anybody else. I know she had reached out to me a couple of times and I didn't accept it.
Okay.
At that point in time, things were quiet and I thought everybody was talking about it on the YouTube channels about this psychic and that psychic. And I just thought, what the heck? What do I got to lose? I'll listen to her. Mm-hmm. So I listened to her. Some things she told me, it did kind of freak me out a bit. She told me she could see mounds of dirt. She said something like maybe a grader or a tractor pushed up, just mounds of dirt, and she could see Lily kicking at the mounds of dirt. Now, for the most part, I would love to be a believer of those things. I'm just not. So after our session was done and I hung up, I started thinking of all the things she told me and how could she know it. And I come up with an answer for basically everything she told me and how she could have found it out. Okay. So I never gave it another thought. It didn't cross my mind, nothing. It just went right out the window. It wasn't until we were driving and we got lost. And we knew if we kept hanging a left, it would eventually take us out to the main road.
Okay.
And we just happened to drive by that place. And I seen these mounds of dirt. And right away, I told my sister to stop. She thought I had rocks in my head when I told her why. And I said, well, I don't know. I know it's crazy, but for some reason, there's mounds of dirt. I got to stop. That's how the blanket was found. Okay. Afterwards, this psychic, she reached out to me again, and I told her that I really wasn't interested. I don't think the blanket meant anything or anything that was in the blanket. But I told her I just wasn't interested anymore. But if I change my mind, I have her contact info. I will reach out. And then all of a sudden I see that she's on Nick's channel. And I thought, well, that's weird. Well, when I looked into her profile, she does work with some type of an organization in Halifax. I don't know if it's for battered women or if it's for domestic violence or it was some type of a thing like that. And what was so funny is I remember Christine Enrig when I used to talk with her a lot. She stated about an organization that she does work like that for in Ontario. And right away I thought, well, maybe that's why she contacted me. Maybe they kind of know each other. I don't know. But it was a fleeting thought in my head. But she contacted me again and she stated that she was in touch with family members, but what was said between me and her is private and they were just trying to pump her for information. That was the last contact I had with her. So I don't know if she was in contact then before me. I really don't know that part.
Okay. Now this stuff that you found behind the mound, whatever happened to it?
It was picked up and it was turned into the RCMP station in Stellarton, I believe it is. Yeah.
Did you ever get an update on the stuff?
No, you don't get no updates. No matter what's turned in, you never get an update on whether it was ruled out, ruled in. You don't get those callbacks.
Well, there's a reason I was asking that question, because I find it odd that there's 160 people in the area searching initially, with the search and rescue group. There's been other searchers with Please Bring Me Home. I believe also, too, there's private people that search on a regular basis, like Tint, for example. He's a private individual.
Odd that it wasn't found before?
No. What I find odd is that every item that has been found
comes from Brad Wong's fire pit.
Well, comes from the Malaya side of the family.
Well, they are the finders, yes.
Yes,
Yes.
they're the finders. I find that strange.
I found it strange, and that's what caused a problem for me and Cheryl and Janice.
Who's Janice?
Janice lives in New Glasgow, I believe. Janice Potty.
Okay, I've heard the name. Okay.
Yes. That the search we had in November, Nick had already done up lists. Now, he did discuss people with me, and the only thing I asked him is, no matter whose side of the family, whether it was Malaya's side of the family or Daniel's side, because I thought Daniel's side of the family might be involved in the search. And I asked Nick at that time that no matter what family members were there, to make sure he split them amongst the groups. I said, I just don't think all families should be sticking together, that they should be split up.
Agreed. That's definitely a good idea.
He totally agreed to it.
Yeah.
When we got there that morning, all of a sudden, Cheryl and Haley and them are over with Nick, and they're looking at the list. And I do not remember if it was Cheryl or Haley, so I'm not going to accuse one over the other, but it was one of them.
Yeah.
They stated that they weren't happy with the way the names were done up, so he asked what they were suggesting. So they switched the lists all up so that all Malaya's family was in one group. All the boyfriends of that group were in another group separate. And then everybody else was divided up. Now, they did have PBMH people with them, or a reporter with them. They did have somebody else with their group.
Okay.
But then everybody was given their maps. Everybody stated they understood their maps. But it was Malaya's family that took the wrong route. Now, in the end, Nick took the blame for that and stated it was absolutely his fault. There was 2 roads that you could take to get to this location, and he wasn't specific with the road to tell them.
Uh-huh.
It didn't sit well with me. It didn't sit well with a couple of groups because nobody else made the mistake.
So,
and then they find the geocache box or whatever it's called. I found it weird, and I told Cheryl that I did find that weird. And that's what started the whole me finding the blanket charade thing. And
well, this is all really interesting. And I mean, certainly for me, you filled in an awful lot of blanks and gaps. And it's good because when there's gaps, then people speculate, right? So it is so incredibly useful for you to come up and explain this stuff, because we heard pieces, from the last search, we heard pieces, but there were huge gaps. Some things there was no explanation for. So you just sort of scratch your head and kind of went, okay, well, that's weird. It's very strange. I just find it strange. And here we are again, the second search, and Malaya's family and group, and I don't know what you want to call it, Malaya's camp, if you will, for lack of a better term, are the ones that are involved in this search. And then here again, after all this time, suddenly we find a boot print. Mm-hmm. And we happen to find a boot print in and around the same area. And I'm not there, so it's hard for me to know precisely, but they did search the pipeline area. Malaya, Cheryl, a YouTuber, and I believe a couple of other people 2 weeks ago had gone out to that area.
Yes.
And I'll just leave that there. I'm just not understanding why, and maybe they do. Maybe the police and Nick from Please Bring Me Home, maybe, I don't know. Maybe they have noticed this, because I'm certainly not in law enforcement, and I don't run a volunteer search and rescue group, but I think if we can notice stuff like this, people like that certainly can.
I would have assumed so, yes. I'm not sure if the boot print means anything. I know some people I heard were stating, well, we had a super dry summer, so the boot print could have been preserved. But I do know November, we had a lot of rain, because I know when our search took place, the water table was higher during that search than what the water table was when the children went missing.
Right.
So I know we had a lot of rain, and for the muddy patch where that boot print was found, that wasn't a big canopy of trees there. Most of it was like hardwood and alders. So
Right.
I can't see that boot print getting a whole lot of protection that those heavy rains we had wouldn't have destroyed a print. So I don't put a whole lot of stock into the print.
I'm not an expert at all. Like I said, I do not believe that boot print or any boot print anywhere could actually survive Nova Scotia, winters. And I live in a rainforest. I can tell you, I mean, I could put a boot print down. I might actually do it, just out of curiosity. But we have woods. I could put a boot print down in the woods maybe tomorrow, May 2nd.
If that boot print was put down, say, in the fall, and we don't have a whole lot of rain in the fall, and then we get the freeze, yeah, there's a good chance that boot print will be there in the spring.
Right, okay.
You're talking a whole year, and like I said, we did have a super dry summer. There's no doubt about that.
Right.
But we did have a lot of rain in November. That's why I was so upset that the first date was canceled, because our water table was low, and I wanted so bad to be able to search with the water table being so low that the rivers were almost dried up.
Right.
And it rained just about every day in November until we had that search.
Wow.
Can I say something to this, Susan?
Yeah, of course you can.
I'd just like to say that, yes, we had a very dry summer last summer. And if that boot print would have been found last summer, totally explainable. But like Belynda said, we had heavy rains in November. Snow started early in December. We had no real cold weather before the snow set in. We had, well, I don't know what the official accumulations are, but I bet you we've had over 4 feet or 5 feet of snow fall accumulation this winter with no frost in the ground. And when it melted, it pretty much all went at once in a one rainstorm. And the rivers and everything flooded again, worse than what they were in November. So I can't agree with the boot print being there from last year. More than likely a couple of weeks before when other people were out searching around there.
Mm-hmm. That's what I feel too.
Right. Yeah, I think that we're all in agreement. I was just saying, Kent, I don't know if you were here at the time. I don't know. I find it strange that all these people have searched, hundreds of people and dogs and everything, right? And the only thing ever found seems to have been on the Malaya side.
Do you know if anybody ever mentioned whether or not the other boot prints are still intact?
Nobody's mentioned it.
That's a good question, Chrissy. That is a really, really good question. I mean, why wouldn't they be if this one was from last year too, right?
Well, I would think so, yeah. I mean, they would preserve the same. They're in the same area.
They're in the same area, but the cluster is out in the open, and Nick states this is more into the woods under a bit of a canopy of trees.
So this would be more protected than the ones out in the open.
Right.
The ones in the open could be contaminated by cats or deer or
yes.
bobcats or coyotes or
all the four-wheelers that travel it.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a good question, is whether or not the boot print cluster was as prominent as this one was. And like I say, it would almost have to be cement. Or someone like myself, a 400-pound man. Now, if that was my boot print,
now we do have a lot of clay.
Yeah, I can see myself leaving a deep enough boot print. But a 40, 50-pound kid to last the year, I don't believe it. Thanks.
I don't know. This was a more desolate spot.
Nick himself didn't absolutely state that he believes it's a child-sized print, but he did kind of state that it's something that he just believes the police should look at and they can rule it in or out.
Oh yeah, there was no way that he was going to say it was from last year. Like he does, I think, have a little bit of a head on his shoulders, and it is interesting that it was found there too. Like all that stuff is, but it's a matter of when you're trying to portray it as being from, because
Yeah.
it could have been from any weekend after the snow melted that the people were out there driving their 4-wheelers with their kids.
I don't know. In my opinion, I think it's just too occupied of an area. I wouldn't consider a boot print anything, period.
Oh, Kent, just to change the subject for a minute, were you able to pick up the lighthouse and that today?
Yeah, I got everything from
Oh,
Notre Dame Tech.
beautiful. Thank you, thank you,
Thank her on behalf of the family.
thank you.
Told her that we hope that we don't have to return again in the fall, but
Yeah.
she's more than willing if
Oh,
if we
that's
need to.
beautiful.
So
I was going to mention, Kent, sorry. I couldn't, I'm listening and I was on mute and I couldn't get to the phone. But, so Belynda has been talking about the, rally tomorrow. And there were some things that she wasn't quite certain on. Did you get any confirmation at all from Major Crimes whether they were going to send anybody?
nope.
Okay. And do you want to just talk on the rally tomorrow?
Well, I think we've done what we want to do. We want as many people there as possible, especially after the RCMP news conference yesterday. We need to let them know. We're not going to accept and say this to Belynda. I have talked about this to other people. But yeah, that we're not going to accept this as the standard of information and stuff that we're willing to take as feedback. They're still asking us to help with tips and whatnot, but they want fact-based tips. So fact-based tips means to know that we need to know, and we don't need to know suspects or anything, but we need to know what direction they're taking the investigation.
I think what he means by fact-based tips, though, is if any particular person knows or seen or heard something directly linked to the family on Gairloch Road, to the property, they want to hear from those people. They don't want to hear from the people that call and say, well, I heard from so-and-so who heard from so-and-so. I
know. They want direct information.
Right.
I understand
Right.
that. Yeah. I just find Rob's press conference yesterday disturbing. We talked about it last night on Professional. And
it's fun. I must be the only one because it actually made me feel good thinking they definitely know a whole lot more than what they're saying.
Oh yeah,
That's
well everybody
what
got
I
that
took from it.
aspect too, but also the like if you just took it in entirety, his previous statement would contradict his next statement or his previous statement. Like there was lots of things that once you picked them apart on the individual answers to questions. Well, one time he tells us it's a criminal investigation, next time he said there's no criminality. One time they tell us that they're not having any future physical search plans being developed, and then the very last comment says it's likely that the kids are not alive. Like, what are you going to do? Just because they're not alive, you're not going to search for them no more?
Probably so, in all honesty. They don't have the manpower. They don't have the money. So we all know what Lansdowne looks like. So unless they're given a clue that could lead them in the right direction, something verifiable that they know that they're not going to be wasting resources and they'll go and check it out, I think they will check whatever out. But I don't believe they're just going to randomly go and search areas.
No, and I'm like, everything's got to be targeted. But here we are a year in, and I don't think, and this is just my opinion, I don't think Malaya or Daniel have felt uncomfortable over the last year from the RCMP. I think they've felt uncomfortable from strangers in public and YouTube and such. But I
Not
don't
enough
see
pressure
how
coming,
either one
yeah.
of them has felt any anxiety
Mm-hmm.
from the investigation for the last year. And one of those three people has got to be able to say what happened. They got to have some knowledge. Whether I don't, and I'm not blaming them, saying that they did anything or anything like that. And I understand, Molly, that it takes time, and I'm not asking them to come out and press charges tomorrow, but I do believe that they can better direct.
Better direct and at least rule at least one thing out, totally rule one thing out.
Yeah, like you start the process by eliminating stuff.
Right.
Right? Not, and like it's almost guaranteed, it sounds like they've given up any chance of it being an abduction. So if you're saying that, if you can say that there's no chance of an abduction, then it doesn't hurt the case and say, okay, we're taking abduction off the table.
Right. But then, I don't know, I'm not sure how police systems work, because I do know, and I've been told by people that apparently they know more than I do, that police like to leave things in cases like this as missing persons because it leaves it wide open for them to be able to search as frequent without having to have search warrants, that it broadens their scope of being able to get evidence. Whereas if they do narrow it down to say, let's say criminal, well, then anything they look into, they have to have proof in order to be able to get a search warrant, and things become much more difficult.
But I think
that's what I was told.
Yeah, and it is that way. But in my own mind, if I was an RCMP officer and not willing to take it to a criminality investigation yet, where I would be willing to go is the fact that it could be a missing persons investigation with suspicious circumstances.
Or persons of interest would even suffice.
And we don't need to know those persons of interest or suspects or anything about them. I think everybody has their own minds where that's at, but that's their issue. But we had a guy went missing last week, and it took them 3 days it's still a missing persons investigation, but they said that it's happened under suspicious circumstances.
I don't know.
They did. So just so you know, Kent, right in the very beginning of this investigation, they absolutely said it is a missing person investigation, but that they would not. How did they word it? They do not. They wouldn't. What the hell did they say? Anyway, they said it is suspicious.
Well, he was specifically asked that question in the press conference yesterday, and he wouldn't answer it.
Which
well,
is
I don't know.
More than what he did the first interview, because the first interview he did answer it, but he wouldn't answer it this time.
No.
Yeah, it's weird because, I mean, he said that right at the very beginning of the investigation when the kids went missing, and major crimes came in.
Because I believe it was one of the news
I think it was it is a missing person investigation, but I will admit it is also suspicious.
Definitely should be classified as suspicious. And that doesn't change anything as making it easy to get their warrants or the scope of their warrants or anything like that. But it means to tell, and by saying, if you were saying that, that also eliminates the factor of a possible abduction, which they're ruling out. There are no signs of it.
Okay.
Who got their fan on?
Well, anyway, it's personally, I found an issue with his demeanor. I did not like the smiling and the chuckling. I thought it was highly unprofessional. But if other people didn't, I've just never seen that before in a press conference held by a staff sergeant or anything like that.
Don't get me started on his demeanor. It pisses me off. The demeanor that he went through the entire press conference for and then had the gall.
Oh, I'm surprised because he's been giving interviews all the way along and I've never seen him behave like that.
No,
it's very odd.
I've looked at that time and time and time again today, and I thought, you smirk mm,
Weird.
and that's the end. And I just couldn't believe how he acted, the smirk on his face, the laughing. No, I'm sorry. No police commander or witness or whatever species has ever done that.
I've never
Ever.
seen it. Not
To
in a
me,
serious case
I'm
involving
different.
children.
I am different than all you guys, I guess, because it made me feel like he was very confident in what he was doing. He was very confident in the way things were going.
Yeah, it wasn't so much what he said, it was how he said it. It was his
Yeah,
demeanor that
yeah.
was very
The mug.
not good. Not good. But Belynda, if you know what, you're the grandmother of these children,
Yeah.
and you're the person that deals with these people. If it didn't bother you, then I'm happy. You know,
With
I'm more.
me,
I was
I've
actually worried about you
I've
when I
been
saw that.
crying for the past 11 months. I have a hard time talking now without crying, which
Yeah,
it's been hard. And I know so many people have hope, and I know that. I see that.
Mhm.
I just know what I feel.
Well, like I said, I mean, I'm glad. I am actually glad, Belynda, that you felt confidence from him.
Yeah.
Because honestly, that's all that matters. I'm in Vancouver Island. What I think doesn't matter. You know, if you think and felt that he was, you know, exuding confidence and was confident about the case, then
That's the way I read it, that
yeah,
so
that's
many
fabulous.
of the news briefs have been so monotone and the same words, and just to see him more upbeat and him stating he believes it will be solved.
Yeah.
Kent, do you know, or Belynda, do you know about any music there tomorrow, or any songs, or anybody performing or anything?
Well, nobody performing. We all have phones if we want to play
Okay.
songs, because there are a lot of songs now that are very beautiful.
How many do you think will show up?
Hard to say. I'd like to see 100, but if it's a nice day, we might end up with a couple hundred.
You're very optimistic. I can still see maybe about 50.
Well, I'm hoping, Belynda. I'm hoping.
Yeah, I've turned into more of the glass half empty now.
But with
That's
all the
understandable.
YouTubers coming and sending agents to watch us and stuff, we
Yeah,
should
it
be
could
in
be
pretty
all
good
talk. Could be all talk.
shape. I was told tonight I should have went out today and bought one of those hand zappers. The YouTuber is supposed to come up and shake my hand, and they said that I should have
Well,
had one of those hand zappers on.
I don't know. I still make it clear that they're all welcome. I mean,
Yep, and
at
that's what
the
I've
end
been
of the
doing.
day, whether we agree with who did what and how things happened, everybody still just wants the answers.
Yeah, there's nobody that's out there that should be able to say that they don't want answers. So,
Yeah,
Well, there are some people that don't want the answers out.
I
well,
believe so too,
the people involved, yeah.
but the majority of people do want the answers.
Maybe the next rally, Kent, should be at the Family Services and Child Protection Office in Halifax.
Yes, I agree. There should be a new law for Lily and Jack. I still firmly believe that any child under the age of 10 should be an automatic criminal investigation until it's proven otherwise.
Yeah,
And I know some people say, why 10? I know a lot of 11 and 12-year-olds. Kids are more mature today than way back when. And there
Yeah.
are a lot of children that run away from home.
Yep.
But kids under 10, not so much. So yeah, we just need a lot of laws changed. And it looks like we need a whole new government to do it.
I agree. I actually agree with Rob McCammon. I don't think that these kids were abducted by strangers or lured from online or anything like that. And I also firmly believe that when they say so confidently that these children were not abducted, they say so because Malaya has sole custody. So if you
Now,
have
you know what? Somebody mentioned that to me today. They said where she has sole custody, she could give the kids away and she wouldn't be held accountable. I thought so too for the longest time. But I found out that if you were investigated under CPS and if they have an open thing on you, now we don't know. We've heard rumors that it was open. We've heard rumors that it was closed already. But if it's open, she does not have the legal right to disappear the children without notifying CPS first.
Correct. No, that's absolutely correct. Yeah, she can't run with the kids or anything like that. But if she had wanted and made the decision, which I understand she did, she had done in the past, to say, oh, the kids are going to go and stay with Auntie May for, 6 months. And then, and if she informed CPS, that would have been fine. If they have an open investigation. If they don't, she can do whatever she wants. And it's not abduction because she has complete sole custody. So she can make those decisions, herself without actually, telling anybody.
Right. But she did call 911 and say they were in the woods.
And you know what, Belynda? I've said it and I've said it until I'm blue in the face. That was Malaya's number one mistake.
That's what Janie says.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's what happened. I don't think that's what the mistake was.
Oh, okay.
I don't think she sent the children off.
Right. But having said that, even if it was there was an accident or there was an incident and these children perished due to neglect or something even more nefarious, and they got rid of them, it would be kind of interesting how long they could have actually gotten away with it had they have said nothing. Because, well, I'm not even going to go down that road.
Now, I'm not sure. Has it been proven that the school did call her back to verify why the kids were not in school?
Not to my knowledge.
I know somebody put that out, but I wasn't sure if that was verified or not. That she made the call through the app and somebody had posted that a teacher had called her back.
But the strange thing is, Belynda, people who live in that area have said there is no app.
Oh, now we have an app where I'm at.
Right. But I'm pretty sure somebody actually said their kids went to that school and said there's no app. So okay. I don't know.
I'm going to try to clear that up. So what it was is that there was a guy that was doing a bunch of searches for us. Linda, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He had actually gone to the liquor store and she worked there part-time, the teacher. And she was some kind of manager or something. And when he was there, she knew he'd been out searching and stuff. So she asked him if he wouldn't mind talking to her. So he did. And they talked about stuff and she either showed him or sent him where she had messaged Malaya on her phone saying, are the kids coming to school today? And Malaya had messaged 1 minute later saying, no, they were home sick. So he saw that with his own eyes and he told me in a written statement that that's what happened. So, I mean, I see no reason why he would lie. And he said the teacher,
reported?
Pardon me?
Was that reported to Major Crimes?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
It was reported by him and also in one of my reports.
Okay.
Okay. Now you said that.
So it's not a proven fact as solid as you can get, but at the same time, it is coming from someone directly.
Okay. Now you just said that the teacher sent Malaya a message. So do we know, did he actually say it was an app or was it a text message or was it?
It was a text message.
Okay. So it wasn't an app then.
No, the app was used first thing in the morning.
It was an email.
Isn't it an app email thing? Like we had it too when my son was in school.
Oh, there's a name for it. There's a name for, and I used to know the name because we used to have to access it when I had my stepdaughter here for going to school when she missed. But I can't. It's a portal. It's a school portal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can directly message teachers back and forth, and then
Yeah.
you can also register absences and stuff.
Okay. Because what came out right in the very beginning of this investigation, and I remember Daniel mentioned this, and he called it an email. And he said that Malaya had emailed the school to let them at 6:15 or whatever it was, to let them know that Lily and Jack were not going to be at school due to illness or whatever. And somebody had asked him, I remember this vividly, someone had asked him if he actually physically saw the email, and he said, yes, I did, because, I don't know, it came back with some kind of verification that it was sent.
Yeah, he got the notification on his phone.
Yes.
Now, he told me that on the 17th of May, and he did not show it to me. He might have if I had asked, but he just held his phone out and stated that I've got the message right here.
Right.
He said, because they messaged back.
Yeah. And that would have been if it was over email, it could have been an automated response, because nobody's going to be sitting in the office at 6:15 a.m.
Right.
Answering emails, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it says in the statement, it says that MBM uses Daniel's phone to mark the kids absent through school messenger.
Where did that say that?
That came out of, I don't know. Let me just check. I don't have that written down where it came from in this one. Just give me a sec.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that it's fair to say the message did get there, and it's fair to, Chrissy is obviously vouching for the fact that somebody who had worked for them physically saw and spoke to the teacher that messaged. I'd be curious.
I would love to know if it's the same teacher that had all the pictures of Jack on her phone.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was.
Okay. I would be very curious why she messaged Malaya. And the reason why I say that is they had the message that the kids were being marked absent due to illness. And the kids were also marked absent on Thursday due to illness. Wednesday was a provincial day where all schools in Nova Scotia were closed. But the kids had been in school, I understand, Monday and Tuesday.
Yes.
And then there was the provincial professional development day. Schools were all closed throughout the province. And then Thursday and Friday, they were marked absent from Malaya due to illness. And I'm curious what caused the teacher to then reach out, because they've already been marked absent. I find that really curious. What caused her to think, I want to verify this, because that was at 9:38. Is that right, Chrissy?
Yeah, it was at 9:38 is when the teacher messaged, and 9:39. Right. So I would assume that the reason why she would have messaged, and this is just my assumption, is because in my experience with my kids, is that I would mark them absent on the school app, but sometimes the teachers didn't actually get it registered with them until usually late morning, early afternoon. Yes. So if you know what I mean? So if he had an appointment with a guidance counselor first thing in the morning and he didn't show up, they would call.
Right. Okay.
And not just that, the app, I'm pretty sure the school portal app only, it doesn't give you the reasoning for the absent. I'm pretty sure you just marked them absent. So the teacher, therefore, could have been checking to see what was happening.
Now, I know the school portals that I've used, they actually ask for a reason.
Do they?
Yeah, they outright ask. It's on the recorded thing that you have to give the child's name, the homeroom school teacher's name, and the reason for the absence.
And then you take as much time that they had missed that semester.
That might be a question why the teacher might have called
up to see why they're always sick.
Yeah, and you got to remember, too, the teachers were already on high alert about the kids. They already were concerned. They voiced their concerns. They were probably genuinely curious, or, could have been anything. Belynda, do you remember it being called Power School?
Was it Power School? Oh.
That's what mine was out in Halifax.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's been about 6 years now since
Root,
my
Roots,
stepdaughter was in school.
Root Strength says it's called School Plus.
Oh, I've never heard of School Plus.
I was going to say that doesn't ring a bell to me either, but that might be what it's called now.
School. That was the program that they used during COVID.
No, it's
Doing their schoolwork.
no, it's the Parent Guardian portal. It allows you to see your kids' grades, their assignments, schedule attendance.
Yes, and any functions that are going on in the school. Yes,
Yeah.
it's a platform where you can look up anything for the school. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think just out of genuine concern, I mean, you seen the teacher, she had pictures galore, like I think they were genuinely worried. I mean, I was told that she was quite emotional when she was relaying her information and very concerned, and apparently where she's been since.
She was very emotional at the first vigil.
Yeah, she sounded like she had a big heart.
Yeah.
Sorry, who is that?
The teacher, I think she was specifically Jack's teacher. She was at the first vigil. She came over and introduced herself, and she showed me all these pictures. And she showed me Jack touching one of those electric lights that when you touch it, it makes the bolts come to the glass where your hand is.
Oh, yeah.
And she asked him what he was doing, and she recorded, this was a little video skit, and he told her that he was making monsters.
Daleen said, Belynda, the reason we didn't hear more is she stopped working at the store and he lost contact with her.
That's really too bad. That I would have liked to have gotten some of the pictures from her.
Maybe she will be at the rally tomorrow.
She wasn't at the last vigil.
Oh.
I didn't see her anyway.
Anybody know her name? You don't have to say it publicly, but maybe give it to Belynda, and you could maybe try and see if you could hunt her down.
Yeah, we do have a name.
Okay. If you got a name, Belynda, you might be able to just call Salt Springs School and ask for her, ask to talk to her. And
I think I did reach out to her once, and she never responded. I reached out to her on Facebook, and I think now her Facebook is gone.
Yeah, it's a long trail of people who have been very, very impacted by this.
Yes, it is.
How many signs did you guys make?
Pardon?
How many signs did you guys get made?
I've got between 14 and 15.
Oh, nice. Make sure you take lots of pictures, eh?
I'm going to get now Kent's going to do the live, but I'm going to get my daughter to video record.
Oh, great.
But on that note, I want to bid everybody good night, that I'm exhausted and I got to